This is Paul. Yes. That experience took me about 15 minutes. I didn't have enough for coffee, and I had to get my backpack and walk over to the Walgreens and ask somebody if they wanted to purchase a cigarette so that I could get $1. But I did it, as so often happens when you don't enforce this U.S. Department of Education American Recovery and Reinvestment Act report. Yes. The summary of the programs and state by state data. Oh, um, the because of the federal cash management procedures typically require state make payment within 3 days of drawing down funds. The figure for expenditure is usually very close to the figure. Yeah. Now, the Availability of Recovery Act funds prior to the actual drawdown of these dollars. The drawn down funds prior to processing all payments. Yeah. Now, I found this somewhat interesting. Yes. That it seemed that a lot of jobs, approximately 400,000 jobs, were created because of the infrastructure expenditures in the schools. Yeah. And as a citizen of the United States, I've had some difficulty with law enforcement not really enforcing my rights as a father. Yeah. So I thought we'd look at the state by state actual monies received. Yes. Now there's the education and the government services Title I Ed Tech homeless youth. Oh. Now the IDEA and then the vocational rehab, the independent living of the state, the blind, and the federal work study. Yeah. Now some of the state profiles also include accounts on the use of ARA funds in school districts that were collected by the Council of the Great City Schools. Yeah. Could you get me that council and all the individuals that were on the Council of the Great City Schools? Yes. Now, as we talked about, the issuance of court orders where there's no due process to myself as a father. Yes. We had the experience in June 1st of 2015 where you reissued the temporary protection order without any due process, without attempting service on myself. Right. And then we had that court hearing where the petitioner was or was not there. But then you set a court hearing 48 days later. Yes. Where the sheriff said that there was no actual service. You issued an order for protection. Yeah. And an order to surrender weapons restriction form. Yeah. That you are personally liable for every word on every form, which as a contractual obligation of the state of Washington. Then on August 15th of 2015, you served me in the Swim Public Library by an individual that was not a sheriff, was it? Then you attempted service on somebody else. Po, 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 po. And then there's a return of service that somebody other than the respondent got served. Now, we are having a problem that the sheriff's departments don't want me to sue them. They want me to sue every school district that has any knowledge of my sons not being in the right grades because of the hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, for every school district that says, well, we can know of the fraud of courts without having a contract that should be understood according to the intentions of the parties expressed in words. This money that you received in 2009, 2010, 2011, possibly 2012, why don't we look at exactly, yes, when you drew down the money, yes, of the AARA full year 2009 and full year 2010 contributions to restoring education budget shortfalls. Now, these recipients that reported the expenditures, yes, should have been school districts. Right. And as a father in Title I of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, yeah. My wife abducted my sons on July 2nd of 2011. The money should have been in the school districts when she got to Clallam County. Yes. And the Swim School District should have received some of that money. Now, this fair, equal, and significant opportunity to obtain a high quality education in the elementary and the secondary education of my five sons, yes. Well, you had no jurisdiction to issue the protection order. Where I was on personal recognizance, yes, I had traveled to Clallam County in March of 2012. These funds were there to ensure. Now, ensure as a word is spelled Ensure. Then there's what's known as insure, Insure. Similarities to ensure that all children are in the right grade, have a fair, equal, and significant opportunity. You cannot you cannot receive a high quality education when you are two grades behind the rest of the students of your same age group and you have the same academic ability as those in your same age group. My sons received a very low quality education because of the Swim School District right now. Now, I want every cop in Sequim, Port Angeles, and Port Townsend to understand, yes, how frustrated it is to not have 20 cents in my pocket because some corrupt police officers don't think that I can sue you for receiving ARRA funds and then now having the knowledge that my sons, were in elementary school and junior high during those years. Now, I haven't gotten a phone call because I will sue every school, elementary, secondary, high school, junior college, college, and university of this great nation for the receiving of any federal funds and their knowledge that children have not received a fair, equal, and significant opportunity to receive a high quality education because of the corrupt fraud of Clallam County. Now, you're really upsetting me, do you understand? And when I told you, okay, that I wanted a phone call, yes, this petition for dissolution of marriage in 2012, right, where you had me arrested for the allegation of violating the protection order in 2011, yes, where you had no jurisdiction to issue it. My sons, Zachary Bishop, Deacon Maximilian, and Benjamin, yes, have been held hostage because of your issuance of court orders that is equal to kidnapping as defined, yes, in the RCWs of the sole purpose of issuing a custody order was to kidnap my sons. Now, as it says here, okay, the court does not have jurisdiction over the parties, the minors, and the subject matter because the respondent did not receive reasonable notice and an opportunity to be heard. Notice of the hearing was not served on the respondent by personal service, service by mail, or service by publication. The respondent, known as the father of the five sons that happened to not have a high quality education for the last 7.5 years, was not actually at the actual note. Listen, I